Hi, I'm Shashank Bhargava, and you're listening to Three Things, the Indian Express news show. After securing a thumping majority in 2 consecutive general elections, the BJP, whose slogan was Ab ki baar 400 paar, has managed to win only 240 seats this time. The results completely discredit the exit polls, which had predicted a resounding win for the party and massive gains in West Bengal, Tamil Nadu and Kerala. However, the Saffron Party is expected to form a government with the help of its alliance partners, the Nitish Kumar-led Janata Dal United in Bihar and the Chandrababu Naidu-led Telugu Desam Party in Andhra Pradesh. While addressing the nation at around 8 p.m. yesterday, PM Modi called it a historic feat, adding that the mandate was the victory of the biggest democracy of the world.
आज की ये विजय दुनिया के सबसे बड़े लोकतंत्र की जीत है। ये भारत के संविधान पर अटूट निष्ठा की जीत है। हमारे विरोधी एकजुट होकर भी उतनी सीटें नहीं जीत पाए जितनी इस लोकसभा चुनाव में अकेली बीजेपी ने जीती है।
Meanwhile, the country also heard from senior Congress leader Rahul Gandhi, whose party has managed to win 99 seats this time, an increase of 47 from the last elections. Gandhi hit out at the BJP, saying that the mandate was a clear indication that people do not want PM Modi and Amit Shah to run the country.
लड़ाई संविधान को बचाने की थी, कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन को बचाने की थी। और मैं आपको सच बताऊं तो मेरे माइंड में था पहले से, जब इन्होंने हमारा बैंक अकाउंट कैंसिल किया, जब चीफ मिनिस्टर्स को जेल में डाला, पार्टियां तोड़ी, मेरे माइंड में था कि हिंदुस्तान की जनता अपने संविधान के लिए एक साथ खड़ी होकर लड़ जाएगी। और यह सच साबित हुआ। The country has unanimously and clearly stated, we do not want Mr. Narendra Modi and Mr. Amit Shah to be involved in the running of this country. We do not like the way they have run this country. We do not appreciate the way they have attacked the constitution. We do not appreciate the way they have run this country for the last 10 years. So that is a huge message to Mr. Narendra Modi. I'd like to thank...
Now, the results came as a surprise to most political experts, as they had expected the BJP to win by a majority.
Yeah, so this is not just another election result.
That's Indian Express's national opinion editor, Vandita Mishra.
I think it's a very complicated picture with a larger, reassuring and heartening message which holds the result together. The message is that India seems to have voted against concentration of power. India seems to have voted against, exclusionary politics, where Muslims were being made into a permanent minority. And India seems to also have voted against hubris, basically, that there was this impression that the BJP was projecting with great success, that the one-party dominance system, of which the BJP was a centerpiece, an inevitable feature of our polity. So what the people of India have done with this verdict is to say that you don't get to be dominant in a permanent way, and that dominance has to be fought for, and it's hard won, and it has to be won through appealing to the voter and persuading the voter and being responsive to the voter's concerns, and that there is no above the fray dominance that is sealed and airtight and that you can take for granted.
Many now say that it was in fact the BJP's 400 paar slogan that went against it. This slogan gave rise to rumours that if the BJP were to return to power with such a majority, it would change the constitution.
So this concern for constitution change, this fear was prevalent, or one could hear it in the localities, especially Dalit and scheduled tribe areas. And their concern was basically that if the BJP's slogan of 400 paar, that if it were to get those numbers, it could change the constitution in ways that would take out the protections, the special protections that the constitution gives to marginalized groups. So I'm sure that concern played a part in this verdict. How much of it played a part, how much of it was other factors and strands, we will only come to know once we can disaggregate the numbers.
Now, in this regard, when we spoke to veteran journalist and contributing editor to the Indian Express, Neerja Chowdhury, she described it as an Ankush election.
It's a Hindi word I'm using. Ankush means reining in. And there were many people who would say this, right from the finance world in Bombay to the Dalit tolas in Uttar Pradesh. Kuch zyada to nahi ho raha. And they were worried whether it might lead to one-party system, that the Dalits were worried that their reservations might go. The Rajputs in Uttar Pradesh were worried that Yogi Adityanath, their hero, might be shunted out of Lucknow. And it is said that the Rajputs did not come out and vote as they did in recent elections, in earlier elections. And of course, the RSS did not come out to campaign as they have done earlier, and in 2014 and 2019. So at various levels, I feel, was there an attempt? Yes, we want the government to come, but we don't want a concentration of huge power in their hands, which is unchecked.
One of the biggest surprises this time was what happened in UP, perhaps the most crucial state for any national party, but particularly the BJP. There, it is the Samajwadi Party that has emerged with the most number of seats, 37 out of the 80 seats in the state. When we spoke to Indian Express's Asad Rehman, he gave us more details.
See, it is a surprise, there's no doubt about that. And the general consensus among journalists, among everyone was that the BJP is going to sweep through UP. And that's also because the BJP, if you look at the last few elections, has had massive gains in Uttar Pradesh. So for anyone to discount the BJP and say before the results, to say that the opposition was going to gain in Uttar Pradesh was a tough call. And that's why everyone was being very conservative with the numbers they were giving the opposition. But we've all been proven wrong, and the numbers are surprising. The Samajwadi Party has made massive gains in the states. They have emerged as the third largest party across India. So it's BJP, Congress, and then Samajwadi Party. I'm talking about across the country. So the Samajwadi Party has had a very good result today. The Congress also has had a very good result, and I think if someone had told me 2 months ago that this was going to be the results, I would have not taken them seriously at all.
Right, the Congress has won 6 seats in the state, which is a big jump from last time when it had won only 1 seat. But talking about the Samajwadi Party, it has traditionally been considered a MY party, a Muslim Yadav party. But now with them gaining so many seats, can you talk about what the party's strategy was this time, since it has clearly managed to pull in a lot of people who are non-Muslim and non-Yadav?
Absolutely. I think this is where the election has changed in Uttar Pradesh, because if you look at like the caste blocks in UP, there is one side which is the upper caste which traditionally support the BJP. Then there is the other side which is the Muslims and the Yadavs that vote for the Samajwadi Party. Now, what plays a massive role in the election in UP is the non-Yadav backward castes. For example, the Kurmis, the Shakya, Saini, Kushwaha, Rajbar, there are many subcastes which come under the non-Yadav OBC category. And they play a very big role in deciding who forms government, who comes to power from Uttar Pradesh. So Akhilesh Yadav, Samajwadi Party had played their cards very well by giving a lot of representation to their non-Yadav OBC candidates. They did not fall in the trope of the BJP and gave too many tickets to the Yadavs or the Muslims. They only gave 5 tickets to the Yadavs, which were all from the Yadav first family itself, of Akhilesh Yadav's family. Then they gave 4 tickets to Muslims. So outside that, it was all, they made gains beyond these 2 communities. And they have managed to convince the non-Yadav backward to vote for them, because these results wouldn't have been possible without the support beyond the Muslim and Yadav traditional vote bank that the Samajwadi Party has always had. So definitely this is an election which has been won in terms of not just campaign and issues, but also caste equations play a very massive role in how elections are shaped in UP. And to identify castes which you need to reach out to and which you need to influence and to work towards that, the SP has done very well. And that's very evident from the results. And that is why we see that the BJP has not had a favorable result in Uttar Pradesh, which is also impacting their overall numbers across the country.
And this time it also relied on its PDA plan. Can you talk about that a bit? How that helped the party and what PDA stands for?
So, the Samajwadi Party's pitch of PDA, which is an acronym for Pichhda, Dalit and Alpsankyak. So Pichhda Dalit is the main, like the Dalits have traditionally voted for the BSP, and even this time they are around 18 to 20% in UP. Even this time, at least half of them have voted for the BSP because the BSP's vote share is around 9%. But some of the votes have been distributed to the SP, and their strategy around PDA, Pichhda, Dalit and Alpsankyak, that will work towards these communities, has worked for the Samajwadi Party. Their pitch on talking about reservation, constitution, a threat to constitution has also had resonance. Then I feel that elections have also is a reality check, and people of UP have always played a very big role. Even Indira Gandhi was brought back by UP. This time too, when the power has become very centralized, the people of UP have not voted for the BJP and have voted for the Samajwadi Party.
And Asad, the other thing that happened in the lead up to the polls was the consecration of the Ram Mandir. When we had spoken to reporters earlier, we had an understanding that Ram Temple was not really a big poll issue. People said, Mandir to ban gaya hai, ab kya? But what has been surprising is that the BJP has lost the Faizabad seat under which Ayodhya falls.
Yeah, during my travel this time before the elections, I spoke to multiple BJP people, and all of them said that the Ram Temple issue has not worked the way the BJP hoped it will. Because one was that, like you said, ab ho gaya hai, the temple is made, what do we do now? What do we do with it? Then I think the people have also gotten out of this voting based on religion and voting based on Hindutva and have voted more on basic issues. I mean, unemployment and price rise is an issue that during my conversations across UP, I spoke to people, and these two issues were being mentioned by almost everyone. That महंगाई बहुत ज़्यादा है, जेब में पैसा नहीं बच रहा है, saving नहीं हो पा रही है, saving तो दूर की बात, we are not being able to make our ends meet and we are not being able to have 2 square meals a day. So these basic issues of day-to-day life have played a role in this election in UP, not just UP, other places also where the BJP has not been able to gain. And also in UP, there is this sense of not giving too much power to one person. And I think we are seeing that in this election, that the people of UP have given the verdict that one party, one person, one country is not the way people want it. So that's also a very important aspect in this election, I feel. That the centralization of power is something that the people have not agreed with. And the Congress has also done well because of that, and the Samajwadi Party has done well in UP because of that, and that is a healthy sign for a democracy and something that I think a lot of democracies can take inspiration from.
Now, when we spoke to Neerja Chowdhury about UP, she told us that neither the Samajwadi Party nor the Congress had expected this outcome in the state.
I know senior leaders in the Samajwadi Party in Uttar Pradesh that I talked to, they would say privately, we'll do better than what we did last time. Last time was 5 that they got. And otherwise, the more optimistic would say, well, yeah, we might get up to 20 or maybe a little more. But to double that number, that has given a huge fillip to the India Alliance, what the Samajwadi Party and Congress have done together in UP. This is that my gut, I feel, that somewhere help has come, a push has come from within the BJP, where people wanting the BJP brass not to be left absolutely unfettered. As I said at the beginning, to rein them in, so they have pushed in a way that helped the opposition alliance.
So Neerja, what you're saying is that it's not just the business community or people from marginalized sections. You're saying even people from within the BJP wanted to rein in the ruling leaders.
The ruling leadership, and they were not happy with the way things were. The Rajputs were very unhappy. They were on the war path in the first 2 phases. They were open about it because of, what might happen to Yogi Adityanath. This was not rebutted by the BJP, that this was not going to happen. And somewhere they sat at home, I'm told they didn't go out to vote. Many of them, not everybody. But so there are various things that have happened in Uttar Pradesh. I think we need to study Uttar Pradesh as a case. Why it has yielded the kind of result which nobody really expected.
Now, besides UP, another significant surprise came from West Bengal, where the ruling TMC, despite facing anti-incumbency, has managed to increase its tally from 22 to 29. It's also crucial to note that the party had refused to join the opposition India bloc and contested the seats by itself in the state. Meanwhile, the BJP, which was hoping to gain over 30 seats, has only managed to win 12, 6 less than last time.
So there are two primary reasons which seem to have powered Mamta's gains this election.
That's Indian Express's Shubhajit Roy, who has been reporting on the state for the paper.
Which was considered a tough one because BJP was, as you rightly pointed out, was gaining a lot of traction on the ground because of anti-incumbency. She's been ruling the state for now 13 years now. But she rolled out a few of the cash transfer schemes, especially targeted at women in the state. And that was about 1,000 rupees for general category women and 1,200 bucks for those belonging to SCs and STs. So Dalits and tribals, basically.
The scheme, in fact, was so popular that even the opposition parties promised to keep it going if they were to come to power.
Yeah, so this Lakhir Bhandar, as it was called, basically, which means Goddess Lakshmi's treasure. So that was a very popular scheme, especially in rural Bengal, also in urban parts, but mostly in rural Bengal, where 1,200 rupees into 3 women in a household, say a mother, daughter and daughter-in-law, if 3 people get a cash transfer of 1,200 bucks, that amounts to about 3,600 bucks a month, which is a reasonably good amount in kind of a rural Bengal. So that really consolidated the women voter base in favor of the TMC. That's the reason why BJP offered 3 different figures. One leader said they will make it 2,000 rupees, another said 3,000, and the third one said 5,000 rupees. So clearly they could see that the women voter was putting their weight behind Mamata, and that is visible. And second was this polarization in Bengal, because BJP has been trying to fuel on the basis of Ram Mandir, and the tension between Hindus and Muslims was very evident there. So it seems that the Muslims consolidated their votes behind Trinamool Congress and did not sort of split it between the Congress CPM grouping and the TMC. So that's why you see the TMC's vote has been powered by the Muslim votes plus the women vote. Plus there have been, contrary to popular perception, West Bengal has seen development in the small towns.
For instance, he says this has been because of the national highways built by the central government and the state highways built by the TMC government.
So I traveled almost 1,200 kilometers in 7.5 days. That was possible because the roads were so good. And you could see the benefits, the economic benefits, where small towns like Purulia, which I visited that place after 12 years. 2012, when I had gone there were hardly any hotels worth staying, or, there were hardly any big infrastructure. Now you could see 3-star, 4-star properties there, the resorts coming up, there's malls have come up, Cineplex has come up in a small town like Purulia. And those you could see have happened because of the connectivity that the state offered. And people had cash, people had surplus money because of these cash transfers. So people were able to spend beyond their daily sustenance of grains and food grains and earning their livelihood. So all in all, I think there was the anti-incumbency against the TMC because of the corruption scams of teachers recruitment and other such scams. But I think they were able to override and overcome those taint of corruption with these 2-3 elements: women vote bank, Muslims coalescing, consolidating behind them, and the development that has happened in the state.
And Shubhajit, the other thing it seems to have overcome is the criticism it faced from the BJP over the Sandesh Khali incident.
Yeah, Sandesh Khali, I think that was also one of the things that, it consolidated TMC's vote, because the Muslims there again saw that as sort of a, BJP made it a polarizing issue between Hindus and Muslims.
Right, the BJP said that Hindu women were targeted there.
Correct. And I think that again helped TMC in consolidating the Muslims behind its sort of machineries. And TMC has a very well-functioning political machinery at the grassroots level, just like the BJP has in different other states. But in Bengal, TMC has a very good grassroots level political infrastructure. So their messaging, their sort of getting their people to vote, all that is very crucial, because that's how you saw very high level turnout, 70% plus. So, all these factors really helped in TMC's win. But one cannot underestimate the fact that BJP has attraction there. So BJP's 77 seats in the state assembly, they will now be put to test when West Bengal goes for elections in 2026. And in the next couple of years, we'll have to see how Mamata uses this particular win to crack down on the ills that are plaguing the party. And foremost of it is corruption and lack of jobs. Because she's seen as anti-industry, not pro-business. So that's why there are people talk about lack of industry, lack of business, lack of jobs. So yes, she has emerged as a tall leader in the opposition firmament, in the opposition landscape, but she has a tall task, tall order to maintain this momentum when she goes for state assembly elections 2 years from now.
Now, one of the other things that the exit polls had predicted was that the BJP would make significant gains in South India this time. However, this has not happened, despite the party campaigning fiercely in states like Tamil Nadu and Kerala. Indian Express's deputy editor Liz Mathew, who reports on the party for the paper, told us about it.
Actually, everybody was expecting BJP to make quote-unquote big in the south. If you go through the interviews given by the BJP leaders, including Prime Minister Narendra Modi, Home Minister Amit Shah, BJP President J.P. Nanda, everyone said that this election going to be, the message from the south will be the biggest for BJP. That is going to surprise every citizen in India. And anybody watching Indian election, they will be getting surprised by what is coming from the south. But look at this. Tamil Nadu, the BJP has not been able to make a single victory. In Kerala, it looks like they have one seat, and then you come to Andhra. It is not the BJP's victory. In Andhra, it is a vote against the YSRCP, the incumbent government, and the TDP made it. Of course, in the last moments, BJP had made an alliance with TDP, which was very keen from long time. Since long, the Naidu has been very keen to form an alliance with the BJP. But the BJP were very reluctant in the beginning, or hesitant. But then finally they made it. They must be thanking their stars for it now. Otherwise, even Andhra would have been a bad message for them.
Andhra Pradesh has been crucial for the BJP. Because had it not been for the TDP, which has won a total of 16 seats, the party would have struggled to form the government at the centre.
And Karnataka, where the party had made big and had made deep inroads. The BJP organization is as good as any other northern state for Karnataka. But even then, and even I went to cover Karnataka election, and I had sensed people wanted to vote for Modi. And Modi's image was very good and he was very popular. Despite that, if the BJP had managed to lose some seats, it shows that something went wrong between Karnataka election and Lok Sabha election, which was not appreciated by the voters.
And besides the TDP in Andhra, which we spoke about earlier, the other alliance partner of the BJP that seems to have come to its rescue is the Janata Dal United. The party in Bihar, led by Nitish Kumar, has managed to win 12 seats. These are the two parties that have got the most number of seats within the NDA after the BJP. When we spoke to Indian Express's Deeptiman Tiwary, he told us about Nitish Kumar once again becoming the kingmaker in a crucial election.
It's amazing. That man has got some luck on his side, because JDU, we know on the ground, is not doing very well. And it was very much visible in the last assembly elections, where it shrunk from more than 70 seats to just over 40 seats. And it was expected that JDU would continue to slide. And if we hear voices from the ground, then people are already thinking about a regime change in 2025 in Bihar. So in that context, this is a great performance by the JDU. And let's remember, for the longest time, JDU remained the senior partner in Bihar. BJP was the junior partner. Then BJP became the senior partner and JDU became the junior partner, and JDU was very, very uncomfortable. and now JDU can assert itself within the alliance. Okay. In fact, Nitish Kumar broke the alliance with NDA in 2022 saying that BJP was going to gobble up my party. It was going to finish my party. So there was this huge party in alliance with a small party in a state where JDU felt threatened. It's another matter that just before elections, he again switched sides and formed a government with the BJP and went into elections this time. But now he becomes the senior partner, and with the BJP falling short of majority, he can call the shots in the alliance. And so, once again, a dying patriarch, a dying regional satrap has once again found a new life. It's newfound resurgence of Nitish Kumar. I don't know how circumstances conspire to make Nitish Kumar relevant over and over again, despite the fact that his party has shrunk, despite the fact that his vote share has shrunk miserably, despite the fact that his popularity has gone down significantly since what it was in 2005, 2010. And despite that, he continues to find relevance because some or the other situation arises where he becomes relevant.
But when talking about the things that have not worked for the BJP, we also have to consider Rajasthan. The party had won all seats in the previous two elections, but this time managed to win only 14 out of the 25 seats. One of the reasons for this, people speculate, is the anger from the Jat community. Indian Express's Hamza had talked about this in an earlier episode.
There has been resentment against the BJP from the Jat community because when the BJP came to power in December last year, it did not make the CM from the community or even a deputy CM, and the Jats have the biggest numbers. Like as a community, Jats have the highest numbers in Rajasthan, but they have not had a CM yet. And then there are other issues of Jats, such as non-inclusion of Jats of Bharatpur in central OBC list. There has been dissatisfaction over Agnipath scheme because Shekhawati region sends a lot of people to the armed forces. So, with the implementation of Agnipath scheme, there has been some resentment. And then the treatment of women wrestlers and non-action against Brij Bhushan Sharan Singh, sidelining of Vasundhara Raje, who identifies as a Jat ki bahu. Also, Satish Punia was the BJP state president till last year, and he's a Jat. But then he was the first BJP president in Rajasthan who is a Jat, but he was removed from his post, over a year ago.
And it turns out the Jat factor and the anger over the Agnipath scheme seem to have worked against the BJP in Haryana as well, where it has won 4 out of the 8 seats. The other 4 have gone to the Congress. Now, in the coming days, we'll be talking about the results even further, talking about states like Maharashtra, where the tally between the NDA and the opposition parties has been very close. We'll also focus on states like Odisha, where the BJP has completely decimated the Biju Janata Dal, winning 20 out of the 21 seats. But at the moment, what Neerja Chowdhury pointed out to us was that there are several states where the BJP has held its ground.
It's not that they're wiped out everywhere. Some states like Madhya Pradesh, in Uttarakhand, in Himachal, Chhattisgarh, they're maintaining, their top tallies of the last 2 elections. And that for a third term is no small achievement. But wherever there has been, they have tended to rule through arm twistings, or what I would say strong arm methods. Wherever there has been arrogance of power, that you feel you can break parties and get away with it. You can break governments and get away with it. And use agencies. Maybe people have reacted to that also. Though Delhi, they have again held their ground. So I think, as I say, the Indian voter puts up with a lot of things. Tolerates a lot of things, but arrogance of power is what they react to. And what is exciting in this election is that people have gone for change wherever they saw an alternative. I feel it's a marvel that the voter in India and the resilience of our democracy, that they felt, opposition is also very important in our setup.
After the last 2 victories of the BJP, this result gives hope to the opposition. Vandita Mishra says that you don't have to be a supporter of the opposition to feel heartened and reassured by this verdict.
If you are somebody who has stakes in a robust and healthy democratic system, I think you have to welcome this verdict, because in any democracy, a healthy opposition is as crucial as a responsive government. And here what we were seeing was that the BJP was running a government that presumed that it would remain in power, and it was pursuing a fantasy of an opposition Mukt Bharat. And, the arrests of 2 chief ministers just before the elections, the threats to other leaders that, time will come when we come for a third term, you will be in jail as well. Those threats were openly made. And the fact that the ED, CBI, income tax departments were wielded against only opposition leaders, as if they were the only ones who were corrupt, and there was no corruption at all in the BJP. So disproportionately the targeting of opposition leaders in the name of corruption. Hopefully this is a correction. The verdict will bring a course correction. It will give the opposition much needed space, because that space was being squeezed. Whether it was in Parliament, where, the opposition has complained that mics were turned off, switched off when they spoke, that their speeches were censored when they were published. There was the whole issue of Rahul Gandhi's disqualification from Parliament on a defamation case. So the unseemly hurry with which it was done. There was actually a large number of opposition leaders turned out, suspended from the last session of Parliament. So we have seen, the BJP consistently targeting and squeezing the space of the opposition. This verdict gives them that space back, because the people give them that space back. It gives them oxygen to breathe and to build on this. So whoever forms a government now, it seems it would be the BJP, but they will face a strong opposition on the other side. It will be a different government. It will be a different opposition. It will be a different parliament, hopefully.
Right, and Vandita, this verdict in a way also signals how much Rahul Gandhi's image has changed after the Bharat Jodo Yatra and how much his message is resonating with people. But now, going ahead, can you talk about the kind of challenges that lie ahead for both the opposition and the BJP?
So for the first time in a very long time, you have now 2 coalitions staring at each other across the political line, So your government has to be a coalition and your opposition is a coalition. So whichever side they are on, but India is a coalition of many, many parties, and the NDA is now in a position where NDA was always a coalition, but the BJP ran it like a single party system, because the BJP had a single party majority and it could dispense with its allies, and it didn't treat its allies very well in the last few years, as we all saw that some of its oldest and most trusted allies left it because BJP is much lower in numbers than it is already. The NDA, that is much lower than it is already. So I think the BJP, especially with a leader like Modi, where they had allowed themselves to believe that they towered over every other party, have now to see the new writing on the wall, where they have to deal with and negotiate with other parties.
And what about the opposition parties? What challenges can we expect for them?
So the opposition India alliance has held where it mattered the most. There seems to have been a seamless kind of a vote transfer in Uttar Pradesh, and Uttar Pradesh has actually single-handedly almost brought down the BJP to its sort of knees in this election. I think the India alliance has to build on this togetherness and jointness, which was not, to be fair, it also is that the victor, takes the day, carries the day, and we should not have winner-take-all assessments of the verdict either, of the numbers either. So the India Alliance has done very well, but I don't think one should minimize the work that is still to be done of jointness and togetherness in the India Alliance. It may have worked very well in UP, but there were many places where it did not seem to be functioning as an alliance. But what this verdict does is to give them the necessary space and room to build on this and to achieve a greater coordination. If this verdict was not as healthy for India Alliance as it is now, then that task would have been much, much more difficult.
Now, the other thing this election has challenged is PM Modi's popularity and image, especially since he was the main face of the BJP throughout their campaign.
The thing is that the BJP is the largest political party, and it has a very impressive network all across.
That's Liz Mathew again.
Their social media network, their outreach programs, the way they discipline, there is an ideological background, they have an ideological commitment. There is something to bind the BJP together other than power, unlike the Congress or other parties. Still, the party was entirely focusing on one personality, And entirely, their all programs, their outreach programs, their other policies, their campaign, their ticket distribution, everything was kind of concentrating or centering around one person, Narendra Modi. See, like we always say, BJP is a well-oiled election machinery. It is always ready for election. And such a party and completely relying on one person without even having or developing a second-rung set of leaders. Like when Atal Bihari Vajpayee and Lal Krishna Advani were at the top leadership, like Modi and Shah now, they picked up a number of leaders like Arun Jaitley, Sushma Swaraj, Anant Kumar, Venkaiah Naidu, Shahnawaz Hussain, Uma Bharati. All these people come from different places and they represented different set of people, different communities and also different classes, So they picked up and they all were there to help Prime Minister Vajpayee. But now, if you look at, tell me how many people you remember.
In fact, this is something that Vandita pointed out as well, that besides Modi and perhaps Amit Shah, the only other leader that has a cult-like figure is Chief Minister Yogi Adityanath.
So the BJP under Modi and Shah has shown a systematic cutting down to size of other leaders. Yogi was an exception. Yogi has a cult of his own, and for this verdict to be the way it is in UP, it means that both Yogi and Modi have been told that their cults have holes in them. And it is not without reason or without a base. He is immensely popular. So wherever the BJP has done well, even in this election, one will have to credit it a lot to Modi. But what the people have said is that it is not something that every person is going to buy into and that or buy into forever. So there is a time limit, there is a sell-by date, and you have to work for it. You have to work for your dominance. And I think the Indian people have spoken, and they have spoken in a wise way, because this just brings the whole system back on some kind of a even footing, because, the concerns about an uneven playing field, about the whole power equations being skewed against the opposition for the government, and within the government, one party, one person, one leader. I think all of that gets a little course correction now. And it is for actually the opposition to build on this moment. It is their moment, even if they don't form the government, and they have to build on it.
You were listening to Three Things by The Indian Express. Today's show was written and produced by me, Shashank Bhargava, and was edited and mixed by Suresh Pawar. If you like the show, then do subscribe to us wherever you get your podcasts. You can also recommend the show to someone you think will like it. Share it with a friend or someone in your family. It's the best way for people to get to know about us. You can tweet us at Express Podcasts and write to us at podcasts@indianexpress.com.